What's going on? This is To Be Continued With. As always, I'm Mike, and today we are breaking down the final episode to Marvel and Disney Plus's series, Moon Knight. So with that being said, let's cue up the intro and get things started. It's the final episode of Moon Knight, and like every Marvel Disney Plus show, it's packed with great moments and obviously leaves us yearning for more. It's titled Gods and Monsters, and it starts off with Arthur's followers pulling Mark's dead body out of his shallow, watery grave that we saw in episode 5. Arthur takes the statue that is Ahmet's prison from Mark's body and is now fully charged with dark energy power. Arthur and his cult end up getting stopped by the police when they travel through the desert, but he easily takes them all out by judging them with his new power set. Now Layla has actually infiltrated and snuck into his cult and is now being spoken to by Tara Wet, who is communicating through the dead officers that Arthur has left in his wake. She's warning Layla about Arthur being too powerful to take down alone, and also lets her know about saving Mark with Khonshu's help. Layla ends up following Arthur into the Pyramid of Giza, where he easily takes out the other gods of the Aeonid and their avatars with relative ease, and also ends up freeing Amet. Amet then tells Arthur that his scales lack balance, but takes his offer to use him as her servant, and he is more than happy to help out. While this is all going on, Layla frees Khonshu and he confronts Amet. From there, we catch up with Mark in the afterlife, and with him being in peace, he still is worried about Steven and tells Tara Wet that he needs to help Steven out. Rejecting his death, he sets out to save Steven, which he does so by sharing his heart, since now it is spiritually complete. It's a brief scene that's very emotional and done really well, but more importantly, it allows both personalities to finally be balanced with each other and allows them to re-enter the land of the living with a little help from Tara Wet. Now Khonshu ends up sensing that Mark's returned to the land of the living and offers his deal again, but this time it's between both Steven and Mark, and then Moon Knight is back, and with an upgrade as well. Now, in order to defeat Amet, you need to understand that more avatars are needed, but since they're all dead, Layla ends up becoming one herself. She actually becomes the avatar for Tara Wet. Now we get Moon Knight, who's flying in the sky towards Arthur, who is using his cult to basically judge everyone they see, giving Amet more power so that she ends up growing in size. Layla, who is now an avatar with her own costume and powers, sets up our final showdown with all of our characters. And what a showdown it is, because Khonshu and Amet are having a massive fight that can only be described as King Kong versus Godzilla. Mark and Steven are now switching between Moon Knight and Mr. Knight when taking on Arthur and his followers, but Layla joins in and she handles herself really well, since she is now superpowered and gifted with golden wings and blades, which are part of her scarab costume. Now, I'm not going to go into the breakdown of the whole fight scene because I won't do it any justice, and it really needs to be seen because it's simply cool as hell. I will say that Mark blacks out again and Arthur is defeated, but both he and Steven have no idea what just happened or how they ended up beating Arthur. Layla and Mark end up taking Arthur back inside the Pyramid of Giza to imprison him and Amet together in his body, while Khonshu is looking over this and tells Mark to finish him. Mark ends up stopping before he deals the killing blow and tells Khonshu that if he wants them both dead, he's going to have to do it himself. Now, with Arthur and Amet defeated, the deal between Khonshu is complete, and Khonshu releases Mark. And when he does so, Mark and Steven, being in one body, are back at that psych ward from last episode. They expose Arthur and snap out of it, only to wake up where everything all started. We see Mark back at his loft in his bed, chained up. He ends up calling out to Steven and he hears him say, "I can't believe it worked." Now, there's still sand on the floor, and when Mark looks up, he sees that there are now two goldfishes in that fish tank, because it's a really cool way to show that both personalities are happily working together, and we end the series on a happy note. But with this being a Marvel show, we are treated with an after credit scene that does not disappoint. Arthur is institutionalized, and we see that he's being escorted out of the institution in a wheelchair by a mysterious man in black wearing a hat. He's thrown inside the back of a limo where we see Khonshu telling him he doesn't really need any other avatar other than Mark, because due to him being so troubled, he has no idea how perfect he is as an avatar, and then introduces Arthur and us to Jake Lockley. We see that the man in black is basically Mark's third personality, and he takes Arthur out by shooting him. The car drives away, and we're left to wonder if this is really the end. Will we see future adventures of Moon Knight on Disney Plus, or will we see him on the movie theater screens as part of the bigger MCU? Now, you may have noticed that the background of this whole episode is completely different, and that's because I'm on vacation. And even though my family and I are living it up this week, I still wanted to put out this show together for this great ending. The foreshadowing of the fish tank from the first episode was such a giveaway to this ending that looking back, it really was there from the beginning. Now, also, the way Jake was brought in and shown to be even deadlier than Mark could ever be was cool. And Layla was simply awesome as the avatar for Tara Wet, even though it's only temporary. Now, I want to let you know that the spoiler-free episode for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness will be up right after this episode, so be on the lookout, because my youngest and I had the chance to go check it out. And there are going to be a lot of big moments and even bigger holy shit moments. I'm also going to try to put up a breakdown for the new Kenobi trailer that was released. So obviously, folks, this isn't the end. It's simply to be continued with.